suggest you guys don't get too good at using them. Epic stated that next patch they will be nerfing them, so you can get shot through the hamster ball next patch. This will be conveniently right before qualifiers for the big $30 million tournament. So if you are a player who it makes your entire point base off purely camping hamster balls, I highly suggest you learn some different landing spots and rotations that don't include hamster balls, because they will be completely gone and out of meta within the next update. Alright guys, so let's talk about launch pads and rifts, specifically late game rotations. Now, these two things are used for completely different reasons. The rift is used to delay and stall time so that you can survive till the next placement point. Now, launch pads are much different. You do not use launch pads to delay and stall. You use a launch pad to change your positioning. Now, you can change your positioning between different zones, so you can change it to front of zone, back of zone, side of zone. Or you can also change it to mid-ground, low-ground, and high-ground positioning. So you're going to want to use your launch pad in an effective way where you can either get or lose high ground, depending on what's needed, and so you can position yourself in a different place in the zone to further your success in the future of the scrim. So here's an example on screen where you see I have a really nice zone rotation where I get to the very front of the zone, as far away from the back where all the people are fighting. I barely get shot at, and it's really quick. Then I use the rift. I find myself in a very sticky situation where I need to just survive.
Apparently, Heritage Bank... People? Ah, please.
As long as possible. I wanted to get that next placement point, and it obviously worked. So, when you're using a rift, there are a few key factors. Try not to drag people with you in the rift. I know sometimes it's not really possible, but try your best, because that just gives them free time as well, which makes it harder for you to get the placement points. Next, you're going to want to make sure that you are over the majority of players. You want to be directly above the most players you can see. Now, this is usually at the back of the moving zone. So most of the time you're going to want to stay at the very back of the moving zone above all of the players. Now the reason why you want to be directly above these players is because if you have ever aimed straight up in the air and shot, you've noticed it is practically impossible because you are constantly turning 180 degrees back and forth. So when you are over a player, you're going to want to rotate in circles to make sure that he does not hit a single shot on you, and as you can see, it obviously is very effective. So now let's go over the pros and cons to low ground, mid ground, and high ground. Now, starting with low ground. Low ground can be very strong during the earlier part of the scrim rotations. This will really help you save on mats because you don't have to worry about players below you, so there's no point in building floors on the ground. So you can save on mats, and you only have to really worry about players above you and to your sides. The biggest pro to low ground is no fall damage and saving mats. Now when it comes to mid-ground in my opinion is the best up until the very end. Mid-ground is fantastic because you're not high enough to take fall damage, but you're high enough to avoid natural resources like hills and rocks that could potentially get in your way. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in a situation where you're on low ground and it suddenly goes up a hill and you can't get through all the building above you and you end up dying to zone. This is the biggest pro to mid-ground. Mid-ground, like I said, you avoid all the hills, you avoid all the natural resources, but it comes at a cost. You have to worry about players editing you from below you on low ground. You have to worry about players sharing mid-ground with you. You also have to worry about the dominant high ground players above you. So you will be going through a lot of mats, but it's at the cost of complete safety. Now, high ground is extremely powerful. The problem with high ground is you will get targeted by players below you. Other players will contest you for high ground pretty frequently, and you also have to reinforce your building so that you do not fall to your death. This means you will be going through a lot of mats, especially if you're constantly build fighting and trying to block players off from your high ground. But the best thing about high ground is all you have to do is look down. There are no players to your right and left. There are no players above you. All you have to do is worry about players below you. You can hopefully get some really easy kills, but at the cost of absolutely shredding your mats to prevent fall damage. Now, a quick tip that I have for you guys when you're on high ground at the very last 1v1 situation. I highly suggest you drop down. The player on low ground will just be completely focused on shooting you out, wasting your mats. Now, he has a very, very good protection, I guess I would say. You cannot shoot him through your own building, so he can hide under your building, not take any shots from you, and instead of you jump shotting, he's just going to shoot you out so that you don't have the opportunity because you're so busy using mats. Now, one tip that I have for you guys is if you are in that situation and the opponent has a minigun or just something that will spray you, maybe an RPG, you can place down turrets. The turrets will give your building about 400 HP, I believe. This will get an instant 400 HP. This will make it practically impossible for him to shoot you out. It'll give you a lot of support and a lot of time for you to drop down to get to his level for that final 1v1, or even so that you can start getting some jump shots off on him. So the next thing that I want to go over is going to be attracting attention towards yourself. Shooting and building, rift going, and launch padding will always draw attention to yourself, and it'll let people know where you are. In the clip that you guys were just watching, you noticed that I was hiding behind trees and I wasn't building. I had mats, I could have farmed the trees for mats, but I decided to hide behind the trees because then people wouldn't know that I was there. It ended up working out really, really well for me as someone edited right in front of me and I got a really nice, easy kill on them. If I were to build around that tree, someone would have been like, hey, I know that there is a player there, I'm going to avoid their direction. Instead, I stayed still, I stayed safe behind the natural cover, I didn't let anybody know where I was.
Who says no to Mentos?
How to fix the error 0 from Fortnite. In this video I'm going to show you a few possible solutions for the search administrator. Once command prompt opens, just type in here sfc space/scan now and press enter. Be done in order to
Hey, what's up guys, Exalted here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a couple new tips and tricks for you guys to learn and practice in creative. This is going to be episode number 4 of the Staying Ahead of the Curve series. For those of you who are new and don't know what the Staying Ahead of the Curve series is, what it is it's a little series that I do on my channel where I go over the new, most advanced tips and tricks that you need to learn to stay ahead of the curve. The goal of this is to keep you better and always one step ahead of the average player, because as everybody knows, the average player is getting better and better and better, and with the new introduction of the arena mode, there's going to be no stopping on that. So with that being said, let's get straight into Staying Ahead of the Curve, episode number 4. So for tip number 1, this is a situation where you have boxed your opponent. He is just right in here, he's right here chilling, waiting for you to edit on him. What most players will do when they're in this situation is they will make a simple edit like this, maybe shoot at him. But this player is 99% of the time expecting that, and it is not very effective anymore. What more advanced players will do is they might rotate and then shoot them through because they'll be phasing in the ramp for a second. But yeah, so what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a really nice new edit. What it is you're going to edit your stairs like this, which is a U. So you're just going to make a big U like so. You're going to have this weird stair edit, and then when you're over on this side, you can reset it and phase right through to the other side. So from the enemy's perspective, when they see this edit, they're expecting you to come here. They will be sitting here waiting to see, because it's the only open spot. Like, it's the only open place where the, I guess, offensive opponent could jump out and shoot at them, right? So they're always expecting you to go there. This is your perfect opportunity to jump to the side, edit through, and get a really nice shot off on them. Super effective strategy. It's not too hard as long as you can reset edits. So usually you're going to hit the edit, you're going to reset it, and you're right behind them. Super effective. I highly suggest you guys start using this. Yeah, I don't really have words. It's just an insanely effective edit. With that being said, let's get straight into number 2. Alright, so for tip number 2, I'm going to be going over a new way to side jump. Regular side jump pretty much just means that, like, when you get pyramided like this, you just jump to the side and make a move this way or whatever way you want. You can also make a move this way, which is pretty common and really effective, and then you can go up to some 90s or whatever it might be. Now, if you don't know how to do a simple side jump like this, where you simply just jump to the side and place a floor underneath, you really need to learn that. A lot of players. Most players who are watching my videos probably already know how to do that, and that is the issue, that most players know how to do it. So there's a new way to side jump, which is really difficult, but it is insanely effective. So when I'm doing a basic side jump like this, you notice I have to run across my entire floor here before I can even start going for high ground. This is, you literally have to run flat on an entire square before this ramp actually goes up. Yes, it's effective because you don't have to start down there and start building up, but that floor that you have to run across really gives the opponent the ability and the time he needs to maintain high ground on you. The new way to side jump is what you're going to do is when you get pyramided like this, you're going to be under there, right? Like I'm the opponent. Instead of jumping out and then like starting building up here or something, you're going to immediately start your ramp here. And you're going to get an entire extra ramp above them, and this will give you a really quick head start to take high ground. I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of examples of what that looks like, because remember, it is very difficult. A few suggestions that I can give you is do it to the left. It's easier to do to the left because of your viewing angle. So running to the left, you're going to run to the very corner of the ramp. So you're going to run like very corner of the pyramid. You're going to run as far to this side as you can because you need to be as high as possible. So I'm going to go like this, and I get really nice, really quick high ground just like that. It is extremely effective, extremely fast, and if you can successfully and consistently do this trick, you will most likely always have high ground. This is kind of the hard part. This is what will happen is if you accidentally place your ramp before your floor. So like I said, this is a super difficult strategy, and it requires a lot of practice. For the last tip, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys the fastest possible way that you can